Hey YouTube, how's it going? I'm going to do something a little different this New Year's Eve. First of all, I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Be safe on the roads tonight. Definitely don't drink and drive. Uncle Mark said so. So this is a different video that I usually do. I decided this is going to be a little fun. This is a little dangerous to do because, you know, I might get flamed a little bit in the comments. But either way, what I'm going to do is I compiled my top 10 list, and then I saw that there was like several bottles left after I did my top 10. So I was like, I'm going to do some honorable mentions, and I'm actually going to do a worst 5 releases in 2010. I think this is good. Diversify a little bit. You know, say what's good and say what's bad. So I'll let you guys know what in 2010 really I didn't enjoy, because I blind buy quite a bit. So there's a couple snoozers that I get every so often. So first of all, I got 3 bottles that I want to do an honorable mention. They didn't make my top 10. They didn't make my worst 5. They're just 3 bottles in the middle of both. If I did a top 13, those would be in it because they're actually quality juices. They just didn't make the top 10. So let's take a look at those, and then I'll go in my worst 5. First of all, Prada. Prada Infusion Vetiver. I'm not a huge vetiver fan. The note vetiver really doesn't get me excited. It doesn't really challenge my nose. Perhaps when I'm a little older I will enjoy the note of vetiver, but at this time it just doesn't do it. There's only a few vetivers done extremely right that get me excited as far as a vetiver based fragrance. This one shows the squeaky clean, woody feel of vetiver, and it just doesn't get me excited. It's quality juice. It's not a bad release. I would really recommend this to vetiver lovers. They will like this, but just not one of the worst or best releases in 2010. Next one was a sport fragrance. Now, sport fragrance, right off the bat, just saying sport in a fragrance, I just go, oh, come on now. This one, Gucci by Gucci Sport, really turned it around for me. It was actually a decent, as you can see, I used quite a bit. It was a half decent sport fragrance. It'll probably get like a 7 or an 8 out of my total score when I do a full review on this guy. So it did fairly well. It almost beat out the original Gucci by Gucci. So I say a quality juice for the summer. Just didn't make my top 10 list because it just wasn't up to snuff, we'll say. Next was a fragrance that I blind bought because of base notes. I did a thread in base notes saying I'm doing a top 10 for 2010. Name me a couple bottles that I don't have that you think was a good release in 2010. One of them was Kenzo Pour Homme Boisé or Woody. This one did not make my top 10 just because it just fell short. It's a good juice, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't excite me as far as those other people on base notes. So those are the 3 that cut short. Now just keep in mind that most of these fragrances I haven't tested thoroughly. They might have been on my skin once or 5 times, but they haven't had like a full wearing of like a whole month of wearing it. So just keep in mind that I haven't worn these as much, and this is just my initial feeling of these 2010 releases. Now let's get to the nitty gritty. This is the worst 5 releases in 2010 that I purchased. Let's get to number 5. Now it's going to go down the list. Once we go down the list, it's going to get worse as far as disappointment goes. They might have had a huge hype, or I was hyped up to smell it and I just really got disappointed. So let's go with number 5, which is a summer fragrance. Most of these are just generic. This one, CK1 Summer 2010. I knew what I was getting out of this. You know, you got crap longevity, crap projection. It's just a fun fragrance. It didn't really disappoint me. It's just a release that I wouldn't recommend to my users or subscribers as far as blind buying. It's just a fun summer fragrance. Number 4. Number 4 is one that got a lot of hype this year. When it first got released, everybody compared it to Dolce & Gabbana's discontinued fragrance called Buy, and they said, you must have this. This is Christensen, New York. This fragrance just didn't pique my interest. It just didn't do it for me. I really did not enjoy this, as a lot of other people, of course, did. I just not excited about this fragrance, this release at all. As far as wearing it, the few times that I did wear it didn't really get any compliment. It didn't get any compliments when I wore it, and I just didn't really feel the mojo out of this one. Number 3 of my worst 5 release, Bulgari. Bulgari Man. This one, bottle's beautiful, by the way. Look at this thing. This is, Bulgari makes beautiful bottles. But either way, this was a disappointment for me. It was a blind buy, but I didn't feel it when I was wearing it. Just like my man John, I believe, said, he did a review on this thing, and he just said he came disappointed, and so did I. So Bulgari came short on 2010 as far as their fragrance release for men. Number 2. Now we're getting in the 2 that really disappointed me. This one is a flanker of original fragrance. This is an EDP. This is a designer fragrance. This is Narciso Rodriguez for Him Musk Collection. You gotta admit, it's a beautiful bottle. I was really hyped up about this. I thought, okay, this is gonna be a darker feel of the original, if you can do that. I felt, it's gonna be a little muskier, it's gonna be a little darker. I was wrong. While I was wearing this came out floral. Really floral. It brought up the florals of the original tenfold, which is not what I was expecting. So very big shock when I was wearing this. Again, I wore this maybe once or twice. Hopefully with a little more wearing I'm going to get a little bit more than the floral, but too much for me at this point. That's one of my top disappointments in 2010, because I was really hyped up. I really love the original Narciso Rodriguez for Him. Now, the worst fragrance release in 2010. This is the biggest disappointment in 2010, and it is Le Mal Terrible, which is terrible. It's terrible. Not that it's terrible. The marketing, the name, the bottle itself looks badass. I was like, yes, great stuff. I get it, I blind buy it. I look at the notes, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Spray it on. I got angry. I got angry. This thing is junk. It's not junk, but it's just not worth it. It's a huge disappointment for me. All you do with my favorite fragrance is throw some grapefruit on it? Are you kidding me? That's all you can do. Jean-Paul Gaultier, look at me. Hire me. I will give you a Le Mal Terrible. Let's get rid of some of that lavender. Tune up the mint a little bit in this fragrance. Tune down the vanilla a little bit. Throw some chocolate in the background. You got a winner. I'm telling you. This stuff, grapefruit, get out of here. It's terrible. That is the worst fragrance for 2010. Do not blind buy this, especially if you got the original. It's a redundant release. I just can't. I was so excited about this fragrance, and it just totally disappointed me. So these are my worst 5. Be gentle in the comments if some of these are your new favorite fragrance. I'm just giving my 2 cents on these fragrances. So I'll see you guys later. I got a video that I'm going to do my top 10 of 2010. Something on the happy side of things. So catch you guys later. Enjoy your 2011, guys.